We have all heard his name before, Iron Man, the unstoppable Marvel character that turned Thanos into a fine mound of dust. And with the snap of a finger too. As it turns out, it's not only the amazing sacrifice of Tony Stark that makes him such a remarkable character. Existing in real life as Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man has given a lot to be where he is today. In this video, we're going to discuss everything from his atypical childhood, conviction for substance abuse, down to his dramatic evolution into one of the highest earning and most respected actors in the American movie industry. Let's get into it. Robert Downey Jr.'s early life. Born on the 4th of April 1965 to parents Robert Downey Sr. and Elise Downey, Rob recorded some of the most defining events of his early life in Greenwich Village in Manhattan, New York City. Besides the fact that both were obviously a couple, they had other things in common: careers in the movie industry and addiction issues. While Robert Downey's father was an underground film director, his mother was an actress who starred in some of her husband's movies. Their joint addiction to alcohol is said to have led to their divorce in 1975. The couple also had an interesting ancestry, which, like their son's talents, was an absolute mix. Robert's father was half Lithuanian Jewish, a quarter Hungarian Jewish, and a quarter Irish. His mother, on the other hand, had German, Scottish, English, and Swiss German origins. Downey Jr.'s career kicked off at the early age of 5, when he starred in his father's movie, Pound. At 6, he was introduced to marijuana after his father caught him sipping wine. By 8, he was already dependent on drugs. Downey once explained that drug use was a way through which he bonded with his father. He was pretty much his father's boy, and contrary to what you may think, that attachment continued well past the period he eventually got clean, to the moment his father passed away in 2021. Robert Downey fine-tuned his craft by learning on movie sets under Downey Sr. and attending Stage Door Manor, a performing arts training center in New York. In 1982, he dropped out of Santa Monica High School to concentrate full-time on his acting career. Robert Downey Jr.'s career. The 1980s and 90s were the period when Downey emerged into full-blown acting. Some of the movies he starred in include Baby It's You in 1983, Firstborn in 1984, Tough Turf and Weird Science in 1985, True Believer in 1989, and one of the ones that shot him into undisputable limelight, Chaplin in 1992. The movie won him an Academy Award nomination and a BAFTA Award for Best Actor. Before that, he was a popular character on Saturday Night Live, a comedy program by NBC. Robert Downey performed multiple roles in the opening decades. In Short Cuts by Robert Altman, he played the role of a makeup artist who had a murderer as a best friend. In the comedic plot of Heart and Souls in 1993, Downey was strangely involved with the spirits of 4 dead people. And in Natural Born Killers, released in 1994, he was an opportunistic journalist who figured he could use a serial killer's streak to boost his professional rating. Robert Downey also appeared in another of his father's movies, titled Hugo Paul in 1997, and in the 2 years from 1997 to 1999, he collaborated with numerous others, including Wesley Snipes, Kenneth Branagh, Daryl Hannah, and Aidan Quinn. He assumed a quite different role in Tobey Maguire's Wonder Boys from the year 2000, where he was a literary agent with sexual interests in men and women. However, Robert Downey was also facing some challenges during this period. He had become so hooked on drugs that he constantly got into trouble with law enforcement and was becoming less and less marketable to employers. Prior to his debut on the primetime TV show, Ally McBeal in 1997, Downey had started having problems with his addiction. 10 years earlier, when he was cast as a privileged drug addict in the movie adaptation of Preston Ellis's Less Than Zero in 1987, he was so immersed in his character that it was hardly distinguishable from his personality in real life. In an interview with The Guardian, Downey admitted that he had only always taken his drugs after work and on weekends. But on that movie set, he moved from an actor who was relatively able to distinguish business from pleasure to one who could hardly separate both. According to him, a character that was meant to be an exaggeration of himself now changed to him becoming an exaggeration of the character. In 1995, while filming for the Jodie Foster movie Home for the Holidays, the actor's behavior forced Foster to stop production so he could speak to him. But it was really in 1996 that the industry would realize how much of a user Downey was. In June, police stopped a naked Robert Downey as he drove around in his Porsche on Sunset Boulevard. He was found in possession of a .357 Magnum on the passenger seat, in addition to heroin and cocaine. At that time, he was already father to 2-year-old Indio, a son he had had with Deborah Falconer. A month after the incident, a few hours before his appearance in court, Downey walked into a neighbor's house and passed out in their child's bedroom. From here, his life became a mess of drug-related controversies. He was sentenced to 36 months behind bar in 1999 when he repeatedly failed to fulfill his prohibition terms. Though he was released on parole after serving only a year, Downey was later arrested in a hotel where he was found in a Wonder Woman costume and in possession of heroin. He was again picked up in 2001 in Culver City, California, when he was found walking around barefooted and suspected of being under the influence. This incident was the last straw. The producers of Ally McBeal, one show where he'd been able to maintain his spot, were finally exhausted and fired him in 2001. That did not stop Downey from getting the Golden Globe Award and a Screen Actors Guild Award. That same year, rather than a new jail term, the thespian was sentenced to 3 years prohibition, during which he would receive treatment for his addiction. This allowed him to commence a long and difficult journey to becoming clean. Robert Downey Jr.'s recovery. After close to half a decade of battling with the law, Robert Downey needed to pay. His appeal as a movie talent was pretty much at rock bottom in the eyes of producers, and he could hardly get insurance for new roles. Eventually, his friend Mel Gibson bailed him out by personally helping with liability insurance for the 2003 movie The Singing Detective. That enabled him to step back into the limelight, with roles in movies like Gothica, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and Zodiac. The biggest influencer in Downey's life at this point was his current wife and movie producer, Susan Levin. Both had met on the set of Gothica, where Susan had told him he could kiss a relationship goodbye if he did not stop his drug use. The warning appeared to have worked, as both got married in 2005. In 2008, Downey landed a role in the blockbusting movie by Marvel Cinematic Universe, Iron Man. There, his role established him as a highly important to the MCU, getting him off the ground and appearing in subsequent movies after that. His character in Tropic Thunder also earned him an Oscar for Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Supporting Role. Tropic Thunder is particularly notable because Downey was cast as a white actor who was faking as a black movie character. In 2009, Robert Downey continued to gain positive acclaim for his performance in The Soloist, the sleuth movie Sherlock Holmes, and the 2011 sequel A Game of Shadows. After years of focusing on Marvel movies, Downey played the lead role in Dolittle, a movie about a veterinarian who could converse with animals. In the last couple of years since then, Downey, alongside his wife Susan, has kickstarted Team Downey Production Company, a move that resembles his father's path. He's also founded the Footprint Coalition, an organization that supports the use of technologies in protecting the environment. He's a donor to numerous charities and is a member of the board of the Anti-Recidivism Coalition, where he participates in helping prisoners resettle into society. In case you are wondering about his wealth, Downey is estimated to have a net worth of over $300 million. Some of his biggest earnings came from millions of dollars worth of payouts from his roles in MCU movies. He was the highest paid actor on Forbes with $75 million in both 2013 and 14, reaching an all-time high in 2018 with $81 million. Barring any significant problems, Downey is sure to be set for a long time after. I hope you got value out of this biography. If so, make sure to drop a like and see you in the next video.